guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be randomly choosing my January TBR. I have seen a few of these videos and I just thought it was so fun that I wanted to play along. I wanted to do a video like this. So I have my tried and true New York mug that Michael and I actually got in New York, and I have 11 slips of papers here, and these have the names of each of these books on here, and there's 10 books, but I have 11 slips of paper because one slip of paper says that I get to pick. So I'm hoping I get that one because there's definitely some books that I would love to read this month. Today is actually January 5th. So I know this isn't like the start of January because I have already been reading a few books that I am filming for a separate video, and I had to read those books, but these are going to be the books that I read throughout the rest of January. I'm hoping I can read 4 more because I'm reading 3 books for a video, hoping I can fit in 4 more. So we're going to be pulling 4 different names today out of these 10 books. So first, I'm just gonna go over the books really quickly and basically their synopses with each one so you kind of know what they are. So the first book on this stack is called The Appeal, and I am excited to read this one. I know it has a lot of like emails and text messages and things like that, so I know it will be pretty interesting. But basically this one is about a theater group, and their professor comes up to them and tells them that his daughter has recently been diagnosed with terminal illness, and so all the students come together and they try to help him. I believe they give some money, but they soon realize that not everything is quite as it seems, and then there is a murder within the group. So then the FBI and the cops are trying to figure out what happened, and so I know that they're looking at all the evidence. My cousin read this and she said it was really interesting, and you're basically trying to discover it as the police do as well, so I know that that's going to be really fun. The next book that I have is one I haven't heard anyone talk about, but this is called Once There Were Wolves. This is about a girl named Inti Flynn, and she is working with some biologists, and they go to Scotland to release these wolves that they have been helping grow up and train, I guess, and they're releasing them into the wild and see how they do within that habitat. Then suddenly within this biologist group there is a death, and some people are trying to blame it on the wolves, but Inti wants to believe that her wolves are not malicious and that is not the cause. And then she also, I think, starts falling for one of the main human suspects as well, and so I know it's gonna be really interesting. I know there's something about her twin sister in here too, just from reading the back, but it doesn't really give much about that. So I know that this will be a good mystery, and I also love animals. So the next book on the list is Winter in Paradise by Ellen Hildebrand, and I do have a bookmark in here because I started this at the end of December, but I stopped because I had to start reading those books for the video that I was talking about. I think I only got 56 pages in, so I didn't get far, so I feel like I had to add it to this list so that maybe I can try to continue it soon, since it wasn't that long ago that I started reading it. But this is also another mystery, and I have read I think one other Ellen Hildebrand book and I really liked it. This is about a woman named Irene, and she has 2 grown boys and a husband, and her husband works a lot and he travels a lot, so he's gone a lot, and one day she gets a call that he has died, and they call her and tell her that she has to go to this island to go figure some things out and identify his body. And so she ends up going there, and she finds out that he has a whole like secret family over there. So it's just a lot of scheming, a lot of mystery. I'm sure you're going to be figuring out while Irene does. So I just know that this would be kind of an interesting mystery with lots of drama filled. Also, it takes place in winter, so for January I feel like this is good, even though she's going to be going to an island with a beach. Maybe it will make me want summer to happen, I don't know. The next book is Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins, and I've seen a few people talk about this. I feel like I've seen a couple of people say they didn't like this, and then some people say that this was one of the saddest books that they've ever read, which, if you know me, I like sad books because I don't feel like I get very emotional with books. So when a book can make me emotional, I feel like I have to give it some praise. But this is about a couple named Joshua and Lauren, and she gets also diagnosed, like this other book, with a terminal illness, and she decides that she wants to write Joshua, her husband, a letter for him to open every month the year after she has passed, to help him kind of cope with it. I know that she gives him little tasks to do to help him cope, and he also gets to feel her there while he is reading her letters. So I just know that this is going to be sad, but this is going to be meaningful, and I think there might be like a little twist from just reading the back. So we'll see. Sounds sad, but sounds interesting. Next book is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I feel like a lot of people have read this already, but I've actually never read an Emily Henry book, so I'm excited for this to be my first. My cousin was also telling me that this is her favorite by her, and I know she has a new book coming out later this year, so I feel like I want to read a couple under my belt before it comes out. This one is about a girl named Nora, which I already love because my dog's name is Nora, and she is a literary agent, so it's all about books. So this is a book about books, which, again, if you know me, you know I love those kind of books. But she decides to go on a random trip with her sister, and while she's on that trip, she actually bumps into another literary colleague. I know that her and him have not got off on the right foot every time that they bump into each other, but apparently on this trip they keep bumping into each other, and of course we probably know where it's gonna go from there. But I just can't wait to see how I like Emily Henry's writing, and also books about books. Again, probably gonna love this. The next book that I have is House of Hollow, and I didn't know this when I got this book, but I believe that this is within the genre of horror. I know it has mystery, and I know it even has some fantasy elements. I did not know it had horror. I've never read a horror book, so we will see. If I pick this, I will start it, and I may have to DNF it if it gets too scary because I don't like horror. But the cover is beautiful, and so I found that really interesting. I'm gonna read a little bit of the synopsis because I feel like I'm probably not gonna do a great job of explaining it. Iris Hollow and her two older sisters are unquestionably strange. As children, they disappeared on a Scottish city street, only to return a month later with no memory of what had happened to them or where they'd been. More troubling, their appearance began to change, their blue eyes now black, their dark hair now white. And as they grew older, odd, eerie occurrences seemed to follow them in their wake. People find them disturbingly intoxicating, unbearably beautiful, and inexplicably dangerous. Now 17-year-old Iris is doing all she can to fit in and graduate high school on time, something her two famous, glamorous, globe-trotting older sisters, Gray and Vivi, never managed to do. But when Gray goes missing, leaving behind bizarre clues as to her whereabouts, Iris and Vivi are left to find her, but they aren't the only ones looking. As they brush against the supernatural, Iris quickly realizes that the story she's been told about their past is unraveling. The world that returned them seemingly unharmed 10 years ago might just be calling them back again. So, sounds extremely intoxicating and interesting, and I want to dive into more like fantasy and even different genres within fantasy. But if it gets too scary, I'm just not going to finish it. But it's beautiful, so I'll probably keep it in my collection. We will see how this one goes. I'm kind of hoping I don't pick that one. I'm scared. Maybe I should save that for October. My next book that I have, I need to pick this. I either need to draw this name or I need to draw the I get to pick, because I will pick this one. This is Holly Jackson's brand new book. Holly Jackson wrote the trilogy of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and if you know, I loved that series. One of my favorite series I have ever read, some of my favorite books that I read in 2022. I loved her writing, loved all the books. Amazing, so I'm very excited to read her brand new mystery thriller book. This is about a group of friends that have 6 individuals in the group, and they decide to go on a beach trip in their RV for spring break, and their RV breaks down, and so they're kind of trapped while they're trying to go to the beach, and then all of a sudden their tires get shot at and they're like super stuck, and they realize someone is watching them. Someone is actually sniping at them. So then within a confined space, trying to figure out who is watching them, some secrets are revealed within the group, and they figure out maybe why someone is watching them. So I know I'm gonna love this. I really need to pick this. The next book that I have is by Lisa Jewell, and this is called Invisible Girl. I have read one other book by her, and it was okay. I think I gave it like 3 stars. It was a mystery, but it wasn't like the best mystery. It kind of took me a while to get through. I wasn't like super into it, but I want to give more of her books a try because a lot of people like her books, and she has quite a few different ones. When I was reading the synopsis of this one, because I've had this one for a while, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. It seems a little bit strange, but I know it will probably be at least decent. I'm going to read a little bit of the synopses on this one too, but it says, Owen Pick's life is falling apart in his 30s, a virgin, and living in his aunt's spare bedroom. He has just been suspended from his job as a computer science teacher after accusations of sexual misconduct, which he strongly denies. Searching for professional advice online, he is inadvertently sucked into the dark world of incel, involuntary celibate, forums, where he meets the charismatic, mysterious, and and sinister Bryn. Okay, just already that sounds like a lot. Across the street from Owen live the Fours family, headed by mom Kate, a psychotherapist, and a dad, Rowan, a child psychologist. Kate and Rowan have always had a bad feeling about their neighbor Owen. There's something off about him. Their teenage daughter swears he followed her home from the train station one night. Meanwhile, young Safri, I think is how you say it, Maddox spent 3 years as a patient of Rowan Force, which is the dad. I had to like reread this to figure that out. Feeling abandoned when their therapy ends, she searches for other ways to maintain her connection with him, trailing him when he leaves his practice and learning more than she wanted to know about Rowan and his family. Then on Valentine's night, Safri disappears and the last person to see her alive is Owen Pitt. So I had to like reread that a couple times because there's obviously like almost three different stories and they're gonna intertwine, which again, sounds interesting. It sounds a little dark, and I don't think I've read something like this, and I don't know if we're gonna get kind of a villain's perspective, which will be fun too, if that is what it is. But I wouldn't mind reading this one, and I feel like the cover looks pretty wintry, so I feel like it'd be a good time to read that. The next book that I have, I was actually gifted from my friend, and this is by Ted Decker, and this is called The Bride Collector. I haven't read any of his books, but my friend was saying that she loves his books. He writes mysteries, and I know that he also writes from some Christian-based perspectives, which I've heard, but I can't imagine with like a dark book like this having that kind of thing. So we will see, but I know that it kind of messes with good and evil and how I guess humans have to decide between that, so that could be interesting. But just to quickly talk about what this is it says a virtuous killer is carving a path of death across the West, intent on killing only the most beautiful women, all in the name of love. He has claimed 6 victims and slipped through the FBI's fingers, each time leaving behind a handwritten note and a bridal veil. Creep. Special Agent Brad Rains has hunted the bride collector from crime scene to crime scene, but each time he finds himself one step behind. Desperate for help, Rains turns to the Center for Wellness Intelligence, private home for gifted mentally ill residents. There he finds help in an unlikely group of 4 who eagerly agree to help him solve the case. Rains is quickly drawn to a young woman named Paradise who struggles with psychosis. As they grow closer, he begins to see the world through her eyes. Together they enter the killer's deadly game and begin to close in. But like Paradise, the bride collector is supremely gifted and he has a distinct advantage. This is his game. So that actually does sound really interesting, but also, again, kind of creepy. I don't know how we're gonna tie some light into that, but we will see. Well, it sounds like a serial killer, which I actually haven't read that many books that involve serial killers, so that could be fun. The last book on my list is another one that I really want to read really soon, and this is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I don't think I've actually read a Catherine Center book, but a lot of people love her. My mom loves her, and I think this is a newer book, and when I read the synopsis about this, I was like, I have to read this book. But it's about a woman and man, and she is actually his bodyguard. I think he is like some type of actor, or let's see. Just reading the first sentence right here really makes me want to read this. It says, Hannah Brooks looks more like a kindergarten teacher than somebody who could kill you with a corkscrew. That just sounds funny, and like I would really enjoy that. Okay, it doesn't really say like if he's like a singer or an actor. It just says that he's like a household name, and I think he kind of fell off for a few years and no one really knows why, and then that's why he has to get this bodyguard. To why they would choose a woman bodyguard for a man, I'm not really sure. Not that she can't kick someone's butt, but I just don't really understand that. Maybe there's a reason. And then I think they end up have to like fake dating to make people not know that he needs a bodyguard. I read that on Honeymooners, and I think that was maybe my first book, or one of my first books of fake dating, and I like really liked that, so I know I will like that book. Okay, now we're gonna get into actually choosing the books. I'm gonna make this quick because I feel like I rambled on for a long time. But again, I have my cup here. I have all the names of these books, and then I also have one that says I get to pick. So, why am I nervous? Okay, first one. Make sure I'm only grabbing one. And it is, it's 5 Survive. Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've been wanting to read this one since I got it. Oh my gosh, yay. Okay, I'm really excited. Let's see what else we picked. Okay. Maybe I'm gonna show y'all first. See if y'all can, but I can't look to see if it's blurry or not, because then I'll be able to read it. Is this upside down? Can you read this? The Bride Collector. Oh, interesting. Okay. Little mystery, little darkness, little serial killer. We'll see how I like that one. Okay. Okay, next one. I'll show y'all again. Hopefully it's not upside down or something. What is this? Winter in Paradise. Okay, I guess that's the Lord telling me to finish what I started. I don't know why, but I feel like once you start a book, if you don't finish it right there, it's kind of hard to finish. So I don't do that very often, but this will actually make me feel better that I started it and I'm gonna finish it. Okay, let's do one more. I want to do 4 because like I said, I'm already reading some books. I don't know how many, if I'm gonna be able to get to all 4, but I will try my best to get through those. Okay, last one. I'm just gonna look at this one. House of Hollow. Oh no, I'm kind of scared to read that one. Okay, this might be the last one that I try to get to in January because I don't know, I'm scared. But look at this cover. Look at how beautiful this cover is. But I did notice just now that on her face there's like blood or something, so we will see. So here are the 4 books that I want to finish off my January TBR. This was really fun to do. I think I want to do this again, not for February because I actually am planning to read all pink books for the month of February, and I think I have quite a few, so that's exciting. And then for March, I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll do this again. I kind of have another idea, but I'm not sure by the time we get there. But that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys had fun. I had fun. I'm a little nervous to try to get through all of these, especially that scary one, but we will see how it goes. And of course, I will update you guys with what I thought about all these books, probably in my January reading wrap-up. That's really where I break down what I rated books, how I liked them, if I recommend them in my monthly wrap-ups. And I try to do monthly wrap-ups every month that I have been seriously reading now. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel, and I hope to see you guys soon.